I am a granddaughter, a daughter, a mother, a sister, an aunt, a niece, a cousin, a community member, and a friend. And I have a right to a safe community. A safe community means that I have a right to a violence-free community. It means I have the right to have the support of my government, and it means that I have a right to not experience police brutality. What this means is that my grandmother, when I go to work or school, will know that I'm safe. This means my mom will not worry about me walking down the street at night. This means that I won't worry about my son or my daughter or my nieces or nephews being victims of police brutality. This means that my nieces, nephews, cousins, friends will not go to underfunded schools. We all have a right to a safe community, but not everyone has a safe community. Let's not rest until everyone does. Thank you.
As a mother, it is important for me to provide my daughter with healthy and quality meals. I find it sad to know that there is a lack of resources of quality and nutritious food choices in our community. I believe that everyone has a right to have at least 3 balanced meals a day, despite their financial situation or the neighborhoods in which we live in. I believe that everyone should have the right to fresh produce, meat, and dairy products without the artificial additives. As a food stamp recipient, I am able to provide my daughter with these healthy choices and give her fresh meals on a daily basis for her to grow.
Hi, my name is Ava, and I stand with the Reproductive Justice Collective and their work in supporting access to quality health care for all women, regardless of immigration status, including access to quality reproductive health care. The Reproductive Justice Collective fights for strong families in our communities and knows that immigrant rights are deeply connected to reproductive justice. We firmly take a stand against laws such as Arizona's SB 1070 and federal programs like Secure Communities, which tear families apart and exacerbate mistrust between law enforcement and women immigrants and their families. The Reproductive Justice Collective recognizes all families and works for the right of all families to live and work in safe and healthy communities, free from the fear of detention and deportation.
Isn't something that should be an option for anyone. It should be an option for everyone. Healthcare should be provided to all, whether they can afford to have insurance or can afford to pay doctor's bills and different forms of treatment. And when I refer to healthcare, I don't just mean the Western idea of healthcare where people go into a doctor's office and get treatment through medicine. I mean healthcare that involves the spirit and involves the soul and involves us thinking about healthcare in terms of our mental state, where we are and how we're feeling, and understanding that those things are connected. Our family's health and our community's health is important for us to function, to be able to work every day, to feed our families, to be able to take care of our communities. Without ourselves being healthy and without ourselves being okay, then it's hard for us to take care of anybody else. I say this because I know I'm living now at home taking care of my mother, who has been terminally ill for the past 6 years. And in order for me to be able to get up every morning and understand how much pain and suffering we're going to both have to deal with in that day, I have to make sure that I'm okay, that I took care of what I needed to take care of in myself, physically, mentally, and spiritually, in order to be able to function and provide for her what she needs from me.
The right to parent or not to parent, or the right to marry or not to marry. Those are really important issues to the LGBT community because those rights are really denied to us. And as a lesbian woman who's been in a relationship for over 25 years, personally those are important issues as well. You know, when I think about the right to marry, I think everyone should be able to make a choice or a decision around how they want to spend their life with someone. But for LGBT people, we don't have a choice. Marriage is not legal for us, so we don't have a right. You know, we're relegated to second-class citizenship when it comes to that civil right in our community. And the right to parent or not to parent, you know, we also have legitimate concerns in that arena as well. For example, we should have access to two-parent adoption. Those should be legal. And we should have access to fertility drugs and fertility services so that we can have the kind of families that we deserve or may want to have. And then we need really recognition of how we parent and the constellation of our families as well. Because we do parent in this community. We help children. We step in for parents all the time. And I can't tell you how many times my partner and I have paid for school tuitions, bought school clothes for family members and community members as well. And that's parenting, and that's not recognized. You know, LGBT people are full members of their community and participate from top to bottom.
My name is Monique Liston, and I am a project assistant at the UWM Women's Resource Center. I have been working here for the last year as a student employee. I'm currently a student in the Urban Education Doctoral Program, and also am working towards a graduate certificate in Women's Studies. And I've had the pleasure of working at the Women's Resource Center this last 2 semesters. Over my last year here, I've learned so much about what it means to be protecting the safety, the education, the livelihood of women. Since being here, I've understood how deep these issues really affect our community. Student safety is always an issue and always a priority, particularly when it comes to women's safety. We are constantly dealing with issues in which women need to exercise their right to protect themselves and also feel safe wherever they are, wherever they're treading, wherever they're walking, wherever they're just being. So being able to protect that, being able to be a part of an organization that works really hard to protect that for women is really important. Also, working in the Women's Resource Center, you talk about the dynamic lives of women. Women are doing so many different things. You have women who are taking care of households, women who are vets, women who are doing so many different types of work. It's great to have a center where we can connect all of those women, give them support systems, connect them with the community, make them feel like their struggles, though it has to do with things that are holding them back because of their womanhood, don't have to hold them back forever. This is a place where they can open up. This is a place where they can connect to resources. This is a place where people can really embrace what it means to be a woman in all the various facets of life. So I'm so appreciative that a place like this exists on the university campus. It's helpful for students. It's helpful for women. It's helpful for men. It's helpful because we're able to bridge that gap in our community. We're able to connect the vast, dynamic, wonderful beauty of women's lives to mainstream and be able to grow and develop that so we can use it to better our people.
On August 5th, 2012, I was at the Sikh temple in Brookfield with my family. We were celebrating the birth of my new son. A few minutes after we sat down in the sanctuary, my father received a phone call from inside the other temple, on the south side. Within minutes, the Brookfield temple was surrounded by a SWAT team. There are no words to describe the fear I had as I pulled my 3-year-old and my 1-month-old child close to me. That fear haunted me for the first couple of days, following the massacre at the Sikh temple. Then I was asked a very important question, and that snapped me out of it. I was asked, how would I explain this tragedy to my children, who are now much too young to understand what happened? I decided after much reflection that what I would tell them is that a young man made a very poor decision. He took the lives of innocent people, and while we will never know what he was thinking, it seemed that his decision was based in a lack of tolerance. He had a hatred in his heart that was so profound that it burned even in the house of God. When I tell my children this story, I want to emphasize that while he left a stream of pain and confusion, he also opened a door that before had never been open. It was a door for Sikhs around the world to share more about our culture. One of the greatest tenets of the Sikh culture is our hospitality. You can literally go anywhere in the world and be welcomed into a Sikh temple. No matter who you are or what you believe, you will be met with open arms and be provided with food. Ironically, even the shooter would have been welcome. In wake of the tragedy, I was so proud to see my fellow Sikhs talk about and demonstrate forgiveness and peace. Instead of meeting the tragedy with more hatred, they demonstrated that their faith in God would not be faltered, even in the most horrific of situations. I was also proud to be an American. People of all walks showed their support. They cried with us, they prayed with us, and they stood with us. They asked us questions. They listened. Violence of any kind tears at the fabric of our society, and it knows no bound. The only real weapon that we have to combat it is our collective humanity. So until these senseless acts are behind us, let us tell our children that. Let's tell our children that it is their responsibility, no matter the situation, to fight against injustice with love. That is what I plan to tell mine. Thank you.
Hello, my name is County Supervisor David Bowen. Wanted to talk to you guys about transit. I understand our partners at the Reproductive Justice Collective is supporting a number of different issues, and transit is a very important issue that affects our residents, the quality of life of people that live in Milwaukee, and making sure that they are connected to the people that they love, the jobs that they have, and all the other things that make up your life. So you want to be able to travel, and transit and supporting transit is very important to that equation. So on the county board, which I'm very new to, it's my interest to make sure that we sustain transit. We find adequate funding to support it on a regular basis, on an annual basis, and making it a priority to connect people to jobs, connect people to their families, and connect people to entertainment in our city so that we can have a thriving neighborhood.
In a city that's the fourth poorest in the nation with close to 60% black male joblessness, it's very important that Milwaukee has a strong local economy with family-supporting jobs and careers where black people and poor people have the access to pick themselves up and alleviate their own poverty. If you don't have those family-supporting jobs with economic opportunities, you will have crime, you will have dissension and violence, and there's no mystery why Milwaukee is one of the most violent cities, because it's one of the most poor cities. And when you're trying to build a good city that everyone can thrive in, that everyone has their human rights respected, you know, you can't have police brutality. And I think what you're seeing, you know, with the stop and frisks, with the different strategies that Chief Flynn are using, is making, you know, average citizens, you know, feel like they don't have any place or any role in their own city. And everyone has the right to walk around their neighborhoods, to drive their cars and not be pulled over, you know, for looking suspicious or having a nice car or being black. And that's become the reality, where we're not even outraged by our kids being shot by police, or the disproportionate amount of numbers, the times that black people are, or Hispanics are pulled over versus whites. We're not even outraged about these statistics anymore, because we think that this is how life is. And I think once you start understanding that this is not how we should be living, that human rights should be respected, that people should have equal opportunity to make a living, to provide for their families, to live in a safe community, to own a home, to go to good schools and live in a safe environment, you know, we should start doing things to change that paradigm, to make that the reality and not the negative consequences.